Welcome to Frankly Speaking with Sendra D, where we dive deeply and help you wake up to the essence of what it means to live a real, authentic, affluent life. Beyond the balance sheets, the bank accounts, the private jets, the political offices, into the realm of inner wealth and personal power. I'm Sendra D, your companion guide on this trajectory of truthful self-mastery as we celebrate your individuality and your sovereignty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Frankly Speaking with Sendra D. By now, you must know my guest, who you're seeing on camera now, the wonderful, the one and only Commander Darlene Greene. Welcome, Darlene, to another Frankly Speaking episode with Sendra D. That is me. And for those of you who have not met the Commander, let me tell you a little bit about this amazing woman. Yes, badass, G.I. Jane. I've officially renamed her. So Commander Greene is a retired Navy commander. During her 20 years of military service, she earned her MBA and held 3 commanding officer positions, including serving as base commander and overseeing over 1,200 personnel. Darlene created the Returning Warrior Weekend workshop in 2006 to help military members and their spouses reintegrate successfully, a program still supporting military across the country. She has over, 26 years of executive leadership experience. So for me, leadership is just like streamlined over from military to corporate and senior management position across diverse industries, including positions such as Vice President of Strategic Technology, Partner of McAfee Intel, Dean of Culver Girls Academy, Director of Client Services for High Tech Network and Security, and Senior Director, LifeWave Foundational Cell Activation Technology. Darlene's passion today is helping people elevate their GHK-CU peptide to activate their stem cells, repair their DNA, reverse aging, and get out pain through the latest photobiomodulation technology. She also co-authored a book called the best-selling 2024 book called Becoming Empowers, Echoes of Grace and Strength. Where's the book? There's the book. And this is focused on helping people optimize their physical and emotional health and get to the root cause of issues that are causing illness and get out of pain without drug and pharmaceuticals. Which is why you are joining me today, because, today the topic is going to be all about health. And, audience, and I love you so much, so welcome. So let me just say welcome to Commander Greene. And I guess we're going to, the last episode we talked about military, your career, your badass G.I. Janes, just showing up strong. But today you're going to bring us a softer side, a more compassionate side, a more healing side to your skills, because you officially have transitioned from the military to become someone who facilitates healing for people of all various backgrounds, races, nationalities. And so again, welcome. So I do have many questions for you, but I want you to give us a little bit more insight onto what made you transition from that very strategic trajectory and, hashtag strong. Tell me what caused this leap for you? Because it is a leap.
It is. Sendra, thank you. And first of all, thank you for having me on your amazing podcast. It's so wonderful to be with you. It's such an honor to be with you. I would tell you that my journey into the health arena started actually long before my journey into stem cells. As early as 1996, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. And then in 99, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And then in 2005-ish, I was diagnosed with POTS, which is another autoimmune disorder, postural orthostatic tachycardia. You stand up, you pass out. You literally pass out if you get overheated, not enough blood getting to the brain. Rosacea, thyroid issues, a lot of autoimmune things. So way back in 96 and 99 and all of these times, there's no cure, there's nothing we can do for you. So I began looking at alternative approaches and getting very smart on holistic medicine. And the thing is that when I was I improved. I would say I improved, but I did not get well enough for me to say I was in remission, or I was certainly still suffering, but I got a lot smarter. So it was really about 5 years ago. My husband, who was very young at the time, 63 at the time, 64, he was diagnosed with early Alzheimer's. Thank you. So I did what I always do, which is dive in, research, get smart, learn what can I do. And what I found, everything was, we tried a lot of things. First of all, I want to point, we did some gene mapping, right? We did microbiome interventions and testing to make sure that we were completely fixing the microbiome, which is very connected to the brain. We did infrared sauna. We did red light therapy. We did hyperbaric chamber. We did ozone therapy. We did hydrogen water. We did strength training. We followed Dr. Bredeson's protocol. We worked on a sleep protocol. We did a lot of things. Nothing. We even went out of country 4 times because everything I was researching said stem cells. Stem cells are going to be the thing that's going to change your life. We went out of country 4 times, 4 different occasions, quarterly, essentially, and we saw no improvement for either of us. So very disappointed. And then I had a friend say, there's a technology that helps you activate your own stem cells. And I was incredibly skeptical, but I had nothing to lose, everything to gain. And it was, a tiny little patch we'll talk about later, but this little patch, she said, is going to activate your stem cells and help. And I said, sure, I'll give it a try. So we were at a place in time, just to paint a picture, my husband he had declined in 2 years what normally takes someone 14 years. So he had gone to the age of 5, essentially. He was now a zombie state. He was sleeping the day away. He was no longer communicating or talking or interacting. He was no longer his funny, flirty personality.
The man you fell in love with.
The man I fell in love with was no longer in front of me. And not even his essence was not even there. It was really hard. He would ask the same question 7 times in 2 minutes. It was very frustrating. And we had tried everything I knew. I started patching him. And I have to tell you, it was shocking. In the very first week, he did not nap at all. He did not fall asleep at 7 p.m. He was so chatty. Sendra, it was like a dam broke and he had 2 years worth of stuff to say. He was talking. And he was talking with it. He was answering questions. He was asking right questions. And he was not asking me the same question over and over again. He was back to his funny and flirty personality in the first week. We have a Zoom call with his brother every week. And in that week, his brother and sister-in-law were like, what is going on? This was markedly different. The second week, even though we had done all of these things to improve his deep sleep, because deep sleep is when the brain flushes and gets rid of toxins. And we had been working on that, and everything we'd done, including red lights in the bathroom, bedtime consistent, dark, light blocking glasses, no eating 3 hours before bed, grounding in the morning, getting your eyes on the morning sun, all the things you could do, melatonin. He was still only getting 15 minutes of deep sleep. In the second week, he got 1 hour and 25 minutes of deep sleep. And then over time, other things began to improve. He regained the ability to whistle. He regained the ability to drum to the beat. His blood pressure dropped 37 points. He had a nodule on his arm that was the size of a ping pong ball that had been there as long as I'd known him. It disappeared. And then at 5 months, he regained his sense of smell, which he had lost 15 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
And it's an early warning indicator for Alzheimer's. So if someone has lost their sense of smell, not related to COVID, if they've lost their sense of smell early in life, it's worth looking into what's going on, because we didn't pay much attention. We didn't realize. Anyway, that came back. And so, and his hair, he had a very large bald spot. His hair started to grow back in. His hair came in darker than I'd ever seen it. And I said, when have you ever had brown hair? Because it had been gray or blonde my 20 years. He said, when I was a kid. So we had these amazing, amazing results from him. So suffice it to say, in the second week of patching, I was like, Mom, Dad, sis, family, you guys need to try this. This is amazing. And I had my own experience. So, we talked about my pods, which was there were 2 things that were, well, 3. There were 3 things that were the most troubling for me at the time. One, I had broken my foot and sprained my ankle. I completely torn a ligament 100% and another one 90%, and I needed surgery. I was 5 months in pain at this point in time. I was very immobile, and the coping mechanisms that I had used to stay kind of sane as a care provider to my husband 24/7 were pickleball and walking and socializing, and all of that had been taken away with my broken foot and sprained ankle. I was still passing out regularly, and so it was really, really hard. I became depressed. I was clinically
Yeah,
depressed.
of
I wanted to
course.
cry every single day. I would ask my husband, can you glass of water? And he would look at me like, I would love to help you. I have no idea what you're saying. Like, he just didn't understand. With the patches, he did all of a sudden. He did know how to get me a glass of water. But at the time before patching, I was in a pretty bad state. After patching, first of all, there are these pain relief patches that are just, it is impossible to describe how effective they are, but it takes you to 0 or 1 pain immediately within 15 seconds or a minute. I actually put them on myself, and I still didn't believe that was like, there's no way, right? There's no way that could be doing that. So when I took them off, because you wear them 12 hours on and 12 hours off, when I took them off and I was back in pain again in 5 minutes, I was like, wow, these really are doing the job. So I got out of pain. That was huge. I had so much more energy that I'm a person who has never liked to cook. I've just never been I don't know.
You're talking to the right person.
Okay, so I'm just not the domestic goddess that you might hope for, but I will say in that week, I cooked more than I had cooked in a year. I was in the kitchen. I'm like, I don't know why I hated cooking. And then I thought, I don't know why I hated cooking. I didn't have the energy to cook anymore. So I had all this great energy. I didn't have headaches. My rosacea cleared up after years of seeing a dermatologist and not finding any kind of cream that ever worked. My rosacea cleared up. I started to no longer stress eat. I was no longer emotionally, eating. I was satiated. I stopped having sugar and hunger cravings. I lost my hormones balance, and I lost 10 pounds very easily. And then since it's been 20, but I'm not even really trying to lose weight. I am trying to gain muscle and get stronger. And this allowed me to recover faster from my workout. Someone with fibromyalgia has to be very careful in the gym. You cannot overdo it. It used to take me 3 days to recover. I can go work out as hard as I want now, and I recover very quickly, all thanks to the patches. So that is how I began to get absolutely passionate about it and start helping my friends and my family initially, and dive into over 90 clinical studies and really research and start sharing. And I really came to a place in time where the results of getting to help people with this technology has really been good for my soul. It's been the silver lining of this journey. It has given me moments of absolute joy and happiness in the midst of grief, because I have to very intentionally create joy right now in the midst of the grieving process. Because, my husband is not cured from Alzheimer's. He's still age 5. The things that improved are still improved. He's still engaging. He's still talking. Yesterday, he talked like 30 minutes straight. And I don't think I've ever heard him talk 30 minutes straight. So he is still active and energetic, and he's still flirty. I walk in and he's like, damn, he's so funny.
Did you see her audience? Did you see the commander blush when her husband was telling her how hot she was?
It's really very cute. He's not quite as smooth as he used to be, but it's cute because he tries anyway. So that's how I got into it.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, I just want to disclose that neither one of us are health professionals. I've not gone to medical school, never wanted to anyway. My most exposure to anything health is because I have an undergrad in psychology, but I don't have any credentials to talk about this topic, but I am passionate about healing. As you know, I have had quite a few family members. My 2 siblings have passed on from chronic conditions. And of course, in the other layer of my family from my mother's time, all pretty much gone except for my mother. The other ones I don't really care about, but the people that I care about, I always I always have to drop, those people who are still alive who say, oh, you're my family. No, you're not. But the ones I love did have a lot of chronic conditions. So I'm always left behind thinking, what could have helped them? And how can we put information out there for people who are still in that predicament to be able to have that kind of affordable, support, healthcare support. And this is not a conversation about traditional health because, I've done a video on Ayurveda before. And so this is just new information that I'm bringing to you. There's a lot of controversy around stem cells. And so we're just going to bring you the information and you can decide what you do with it. Do your own research. All right, Commander. That
Yeah.
said, for all those YouTube moderators that, put little disclosures down and say this is not acceptable content, I just want to put that out there. So you're not a professional, you are military expertise, leadership, etc. So now you are going to tell us a little bit more about, now you've said what brought you, tell us a little bit about what exactly is stem cell research.
So I will start off by saying our products are not intended to cure, treat, or prevent disease, even if they do. They're not intended for that. They basically help your body optimize and heal yourself through your own body's innate wisdom. So we're going to talk about activating stem cells. And first, I want to point this out. By the time you're 30, half of your stem cells, they're still in your body. They're just dormant. By the time you're 60, there's just a small percentage still floating around active. This is why we are aging. This is why we're not healing as quickly as we did when we were a little kid. You can see the huge jump from newborn to child. In fact, there are many children getting great benefits from our patches. We have a lot of youngsters who have early diabetes and all sorts of illnesses and really tremendous things going on for kids today that these are safe and helpful for them. Why? So you were talking about this peptide. Peptides are all the rage right now in medicine. I had heard of peptides, but I had not heard of this particular peptide, GHKCU. There has been 50 years double-blind placebo-controlled studies on GHKCU. So our patch is proven to elevate copper peptide. And if you were to go to PubMed right now, you can Google GHKCU and you can see these studies that showed these amazing results from GHKCU. One, that it increases your stem cells. That's one of the biggest things it does. It produces growth factors. That's huge. It also improves brain and nerves, improving memory, promoting nerve growth. It upregulates 408 genes. It downregulates 230 genes. It's neuroprotective. It has properties that stimulate NGF. It improves heart health. So, for example, it reduces fibrinogen and it increases myostatin. That's huge. It increases healing and tissue repair. And look at these anti-cancer benefits. So this is really phenomenal. Basically, it resets programmed cell death of cancer cells without affecting healthy cells. It repairs damaged DNA. It resets 84 genes to protect against cancer. It protects lung cells. It improves skin and hair. And I will tell you, that was huge for me because I was having chunks of hair falling out post-menopause. I was losing my hair. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be bald. And all of a sudden now I had all this new baby hair growth. In fact, it was really problematic. I had hair standing up on end for months because all these little baby hairs came up from everywhere. It was very funny. Anyways, not only my husband had new hair growth, I did too. So that's what happens with this GHKCU. And this is what we see when people put on our stem cell activation patch. We see pain relief because it is getting down. So all of these diseases are really a product of cellular dysfunction.
Yep.
So what do you do to improve the mitochondria? What do you do to improve the cell? We rejuvenate, regenerate, and repair the cells. And when you do that, you get pain relief, you get reduced inflammation, you get increased energy and vitality, you get supported wound healing, you get enhanced sports performance, faster recovery from exercise, improved skin appearance, and improved mental clarity. And I love that because I got to experience that. And I want to point out this. This is what the patch looks like. What is this? How does this work? So this works by photobiomodulation. It's a big word. It really means light therapy. Light therapy has been around 5,000 years. This is nothing new. You know how light therapy works because when you go out in the sun, your body makes vitamin D. Your body makes D, or it makes melanin, right? These are basically, it's a signaling, right? It's communication to your body to do something. And that's what's happening here. Only in this case, we're tapping into the light that's inside of you. So, if I looked at you with night vision goggles on, I would see light inside of you. So what this little pouch is doing is it is reflecting your own light back into you at a very specific wavelength. And that light and this can be applied to your skin, it can be on the outside of your clothing, it can be facing in one direction or the other. It's within 6 inches of your body, it's activated, and it is targeting beneficial biochemical response. Each kind of patch doing a different thing. So I love this study. There are 2 studies I'm going to want to focus in on just briefly because
Sure, go right ahead.
They are what personally impacted my husband and me. And so they're very There are 90 clinical studies. These two, I can share with you my own personal experience, and I've seen it working on so many other people too. So on your far left, for those of you who are not watching but are maybe listening, I'm looking at the EEG images of brains. And before the person, there's two sets here, both on the left in session 1 have pictures that are it's a circle filled with red, lots of red, and that red is inflammation. That red is not a good functioning brain. It is poor coherence between the hemispheres, basically hypercoherence, where the brain is not communicating well from the left to the right. This is what ADHD, and this is what PTSD, and this is what anger looks like. This is not a healthy brain.
Before we dive back in, it is a pleasure to tell you that my book, Sendra Inner Luxury, Unlock the Secret to Your Luxurious Self, now on Kindle and as well as on paperback. So feel free to rush and get a copy for your loved ones. In addition, if you are loving these extraordinary conversations about luxury, about balance, about emotional intelligence, about a little bit of politics, a little bit of spirituality, if you're loving all of it, well, rush to Amazon and get my book. You will learn emotional balance is from within. You will learn to elevate yourself to the frequency that you wish to express in the world. So there can be more love, more peace, more harmony. Well, there's more. You can rush to pre-order my next book, which is Sendra, Guide to Luxury Living and Emotional Balance. Well, you know, for me, my brand is all about living from within, emotional balance, emotional intelligence, and luxury. And for me, these books are flowing endlessly from me to you with so much love. Let me know what you think. Let me know after you read it. Put a comment, put a review. I'd love to hear from you.
Session 2 is an EEG taken 3 weeks later. And in session 2, you can see the color mapping already changing. People begin reporting improvements. Session 3 is 6 weeks later. And you can see it's a whole new map. And what they found in this double-blind placebo-controlled study is, yes, they saw that elevated GHKCU in the bloodstream. Yes, they saw supported cell and nerve regeneration. How awesome is that? Nerve regeneration, improved nervous system, lowered anxiety, and that is what I was experiencing, right? My anxiety lowered, my depression lifted. I was such a more patient care provider after patching. That was huge for me because it's very frustrating to be a care provider to someone with Alzheimer's.
Yes.
Decreased brain inflammation. I don't think we think of memory issues or depression as inflammation of the brain. But you know,
inflammation anywhere is problematic.
You're so right.
The brain.
I have done tons of things for therapy and stress management over my life, from EMDR to talk therapy to you name it. But this made more difference in a faster time than anything I've ever done in my life. They also found improved memory, improved focus, and improved cognition, and improved task processing. In fact, the task processing improved. The more complex the task, the more improvement they saw. So that's the brain study. And I got to watch the results of this and my husband like that. In the very first week, I got to see this, but you can see 3 weeks and 6 weeks, the improvement that's taking place for people really takes some time and more improvement over time. And then there's this study. This is a vascular study. So if you can think of the vascular system, it's really from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, right? In this study, in 6 weeks, the participants found improvement in their entire vascular system. But let's talk specifically about the part of the vascular system that most people think of first, and that is your cardiovascular system. Every 6 weeks, the cardiovascular system began functioning as if it were 8 weeks younger. It's unbelievable. There are books written. In fact, there's a book by Dr. John Harmon called How to Reverse Aging.
So for those of you, sorry, for those of you who are not watching, just go to the YouTube video and the book cover is showing. Also, we're going to go through a series of slides that you may want to go to at some point, YouTube, to watch the slide and all the information. And let me disclose again that the information provided today is not been verified by myself, nor by Commander Greene or by Darlene, but do your research. Go ahead, please.
Yes. So Dr. John Harmon talks about all the different things that you can get in the benefits of GHKCU and how to get it. People can get GHKCU in injections, or they can get it in a cream, or they can get it in the patches. And he points out that he had what was a non-reversible heart condition called a right branch bundle blockage. And after a little more than a year of patching, he went back and had another scan, and they found his right branch bundle blockage was gone. And the doctors couldn't believe it. They're like, these don't go away. I don't understand how that's possible. Well, what are stem cells? Stem cells made you. Stem cells were the raw materials of what made your body. Your two first cells that came together were stem cells. And so when you think about it, those stem cells can become blood, brain, muscle, fat, ligament, anything. They can add to your brain. They can become lung tissue. They can be kidney. They can be liver. They can be anything. So what can't your stem cells do? Really? So here's an example. I mean, what else in the world can do this?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is 4 bulging discs on the left, and to the right, there are no longer 4 bulging discs. Now, this took more than a year.
What part of the body are we looking at now?
We're looking at the spine.
Okay.
We're looking at, these are C3, C4, C5, C8, C7, and T1 of the spinal cord. And when they went back and did the scan, well, this person was out of pain, no longer having any bulging disc issues. And the surgeon said, this is a miracle. Like, we don't see this. This does not happen with people. So there's other things, a lot of people love to look great. Wrinkle reduction is huge, but let's talk about this. If you can see these pictures, the difference in 9 months of this woman is remarkable. And part of that is because of the increase in collagen. What is it that's making that collagen? Well, your body is making the collagen. A lot of people are ingesting collagen. A lot of people are injecting collagen. Collagen is all the rage. But you know that collagen is the most abundant protein in your body. And so you need collagen in every single cell of your body. Well, what happens here is, yes, you're disappearing. There's a decrease in appearance of lines and wrinkles. But what that is it's an outer reflection of an interior health that's improving. Your whole body is getting the benefit of that increased production of collagen. And this, results are noticeable for people in as early as 8 to 12 weeks. I will tell you, it took me all of 3 months, 12 weeks before I noticed any change in my skin. But I did notice my rosacea cleared up in 3 months. My brown spots of aging spots started to lighten. Things really made improvements, and wrinkles started to look much better. Here's an example of someone. This is Marcy. In 2019, Marcy she had breast cancer. She had a full mastectomy, and then the cancer came back into her skin. So she was one of the 1% that this happens to. It was very troubling. And her friend came over with 10 days of patches and said, I want you to try this. And she said, my God, I am dying of cancer and you're bringing me Band-Aids? Are you kidding me? And she said, trust me, I have looked at the medical research. I want you to try this. And she said, okay. Well, within 3 days, she was tasting the toxins from her chemotherapy coming out in her mouth. Within a week, she was having more energy and sleeping better and feeling lighter and less depressed. And over time, she just got better and better. Well, here you can see in these pictures, she looks like her daughter in the end, and she's healthy and she's completely different. We see a lot of this hair growth, less gray. You heard me talk about it for my husband and for me. This first 2 pictures, that's 6 weeks of patching. He goes from almost being, no hair on top of his head to a pretty nice full body of hair. And also, his bald spot closes in and it comes in darker. This is a very common side effect. We also see things like remodeling. So you would think after open heart surgery, which is what you're looking at a scar on your left here in July 2017, a year later, that scar is very deep and it's still pretty prominent. But 1 month of patching with our stem cell activation patch, and it's flattening out, and it is really almost disappearing. And that's happening, way past surgery. What's neat about that is that remodeling is happening not just for external scars, which we have, but some of us have had, I've had torn labrum and I've had shoulder surgeries, or I've had, ankle surgery. I've had surgeries. Well, there's scar tissue on the inside of our body too. And that scar tissue can sometimes really affect our movement and our mobility. But this is remodeling the scar tissue on the inside of our body as well. And I love that it helps our furry friends. So we wear the patches for 12 hours and then we can take them off and we can put them on someone else. We can put them on a loved one. We can put them on our pets. We have
too?
Everything.
So how many? So we're looking at listening to this on a podcast. We're looking at 2 images of a puppy who was given treatment with this method. And so it looks like he had. You want to explain what I'm looking at?
Yeah, I think it looks like he's got glaucoma in his eyes. Glaucoma, and it's, so his eye is cloudy. He's blind in that eye. And after patching, the eyes are clear. And he is visibly clear-sighted, and he was no longer blind. There are so many of my friends who have used these on their pets. There was a little dog who was paralyzed, could not walk. The vet said, "I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do." 3 days of patching, and he was running around like a puppy. Another friend of mine had a dog that was not doing very well, patched him, he got much better. A cat that was on their deathbed, patched him, she got much better. A goat she had a farm and her goat was basically dying, and she said her goodbyes. She was so sad. It was like a family goat that had been around forever. And she patched him kind of as a last, like, let's try it. And the goat was with the herd the next day, and it has been good ever since. So horses get patched. There's an actual book on how to patch horses. A lot of improvement for animals. And I love that. It's safe enough for us. It's safe enough for animals. It's safe enough for really anyone. I will say this: there are a lot of different patches, and people always say, "Where do you begin?" The one patch that I've been talking about, the stem cell activation patch, is always where you begin. And if you're fine, if you don't have any issues, that's all you need. That's all you ever need. Or if your budget will only stay to this, we can get you this retail for $150 a month. But why would you pay retail? I can get you wholesale prices at $99 a month. So $99 for 1 month supply of that stem cell activation patch, and your world will change. It's just a matter of how long it takes. We say, give it a good 6 months. Give it a month for every decade you are old, at least. So if you're in your 70s, give it 7 months. It takes time to rejuvenate and regenerate cells. This is not a quick fix, with the exception of the pain relieving patch. That's a very quick fix. And so you can actually use those patches while you're healing the deeper root cause issues, or your body is healing the root cause issues. But if you have an issue of any kind, we recommend the Dynamic Duo. And that is a patch that used to be our #1 best-selling patch before the stem cell activation patch came out. It's an anti-inflammation patch. So we basically, inflammation is the root of so much evil anyway. We can get rid of inflammation, which is stem cells are drawn to inflammation, right? So they go to wherever that inflammation is, and then they kind of get eaten up, and then they can't do all the good work that you want them to do. So by lowering your inflammation and increasing your stem cell activation, now you can really target and get your body to start optimizing and getting to homeostasis and healing itself. So that's where we began. We like this anti-inflammatory patch for a lot of reasons, not the least of which, we love that it reduces inflammation and stress, and people feel it. They call it the happy patch because you really feel this calming. It's a balancing of the autonomic nervous system. It calms the brain, it balances hormones, and it improves the immune system. It's anti-aging. It's basically fabulous patch, and coupled with that stem cell activation patch, it's phenomenal. And then my favorite patch to carry around with me ever, I do not go out of the house without it, are these pain relief patches, because they dramatically reduce pain like this. It is all I can do to not stop people that are walking around on crutches or in a wheelchair, or clearly with an injury, and say, can I help you with that? Like, I have a non-drug related light therapy, non-transdermal patch, nothing going in the skin that will help you. Sometimes I do, because I can't help myself. And sometimes I'm like, boundaries, darling, boundaries. So, but this is why, because it immediately has this calming, cooling effect like blue laser does. It is safe. It is powerful. It has the ability to sedate excess energy. If you think of what pain actually is, it's actually sort of blocked energy. So what these patches are doing is working on energy to actually move the energy through and have that reduced inflammation. It doesn't matter what the cause of the pain is. It doesn't matter if it was a pulled nerve or a pulled muscle or fibromyalgia or migraine. We had somebody that had almost 6 years of migraines daily, and we put this patch on her with the stem cell activation and the anti-inflammation patch on, and in 5 minutes, her migraine finally went away. She could cry telling you
That's
about it.
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
I do have a question though, as far as the target group, where I know you said there's no limit. I'm curious as to, have you seen a noticeable difference between the results that children get versus adults? Is it more benefit, or is it a quicker process for the children than it is for adults?
I have seen that. I have also seen that they don't need as many patches. Like, for some adults they have so much going on. They need a lot of different supportive patches with the stem cell activation patch. Children often just need the stem cell activation patch, and that's enough. They don't have all the years of toxins, and they may not need to detox as much. We have a patch that's really good for detoxing. They may not need all of the other supportive, but I have seen amazing. My girlfriend's 16-year-old, born with a rare genetic disorder. She was essentially kindergarten, couldn't be left alone for 1 minute, was very combative, was very challenging, got into trouble all the time, would not do anything she was told. And in the 15th day of patching her, she had a different child. Her child was calm. She had made a meal, she had cleaned up, she was sitting and reading and ready for the tutor already. And her mom just looked at this, and this had never happened in 16 years. She was stunned. So then the tutor came, the tutor sat with her, the tutor left and texted mom and said, I don't know what's going on, but this was a different child today. And she was amazing. The next day they did a test. Her best test had ever been 52 in a math score. She got 100. At the 5-week point of patching her, again, with just one patch, just this one patch for $99, at 5 weeks, she went from kindergarten level to upper third, lower fourth grade.
Oh my
After 2
goodness.
months of patching, her executive
Fantastic.
reasoning was a 16-year-old. And that was not possible. If you were to ask somebody, they'll tell you executive reasoning doesn't change. So the people doing the testing go, I don't understand. This wasn't registering at all before. And here she is. And so that mom who shared these patches with me has helped many families with autistic children. She has never had to have her daughter on her ADHD medicine again. In fact, we find a lot of people don't need to be on their medicines. They don't need to be on their blood pressure medicine, their thyroid medicine, their cholesterol medicine. They don't need to be on their depression medicine. Pharmaceutical companies are not going to like this, because
of course not.
this is getting to the root cause and having your body's innate wisdom resolve whatever the issue is. And you don't have to know what it is. A lot of times I think that doctors are guessing. I don't think they really know what chronic fatigue syndrome is, or fibromyalgia, or why we have POTS. I really don't. I think these autoimmune disorders are kind of tough, and they don't really know. And so
absolutely, because these people are not mentally, intuitive to understand that most of these autoimmune related conditions are emotionally connected, and they're not willing to go there. I've had conversations with doctors myself about some of the issues that I've had as a woman, and they pushed me off to go talk to a therapist. And I have no problem with therapists. I love therapy. So, but you're the expert, supposedly, quote unquote. Why would you just not want to talk about this? Because when I tell someone, I think this may be because I'm real stressed out, and they just want to give you a drug and just move along. They want you to do. Okay. But so I want to ask you, so clearly it's effective. In your experience, and effective. And I want to tell the audience, I'm very transparent. I have not yet utilized, and it's just a matter of time. I have not yet used this methodology. I'm my own guinea pig. I'll try anything. But I do want to ask you, what differentiate yourself and the other stem cell therapist providers out there?
Yeah, so most of the other people are actually doing well in the United States. Typically, stem cells, they're not legal. So if you're going to get stem cells, you have to pull them out of your own body, spin them up with something, and put them back in your body. And then the question I have for you is, how do you know you got active ones? With a year ago, you were pulling my stem cells out; they were all dormant. I'm 59, about to turn 60. And so I really didn't have a lot of active stem cells. So pulling them out, spinning them with anything, and putting them back in my body, maybe there are some that are going to benefit, and there's some benefit. I'm not going to say that there isn't, but I did it, went out of country, got placenta stem cells 4 times to no effect. So part of what I offer is that I help people in fact, let me actually show you again that when you look at the suite of wearable wellness therapy, it would be very easy for me to say, just try the stem cell activation patches. That in and of itself, over time, will do anything you need. But there are people who need to understand, how do you patch with this pain relief patch? Because where you can put that stem cell activation patch anywhere on your body, that the way you patch with pain relief patches, it has to be precise. It has to be in the exact right spot. So part of what I offer is to help people find that right spot and get them out of pain. And I had a 74-year-old woman who was on a scale of 1 to 10. I asked her, what is your pain threshold? And she said, I'm at a 15 every day. And we got her down to 0 in the first minute. And then a week later, I talked with her and she said, Darlene, it is not an understatement to say you have saved my life. Like, I did not want to live anymore. And the guy that was like her son that connected us said, I can vouch for that. So part of this wellness therapy that you see, what it's doing is I sit with someone and I say, what are your goals? These are some of the things that we can do. We can do pain reduction. We can do anti-inflammation. We can get you more energy. We can get you better sleep. You want to lose weight and increase muscle without losing muscle? Like, you look at any of the semaglutide type products, the very first thing people are losing is their water and then their muscle. Mm-hmm. Yes, they lose fat, but they're losing so much muscle. And that's the problem. And what our approach is let's build muscle. Let's lose fat. We have lengthening of life. The people that live the longest in the world have the highest levels of glutathione. We have a patch that helps with glutathione increasing 300% and stays there a day. Just our stem cell activation patch increases our glutathione more than an IV of glutathione does. There are patches that help with addictions and cravings, like my sugar and hunger cravings, or like alcohol addictions, drug addictions. That's huge. Yes. Hair growth, mood, mood patches, immune system. Some people are all about, let's look good. Let's get our skin health, or they have very serious issues like psoriasis or eczema, and those things clear up. Hormone balancing is huge. You wonder if you can get your hormones balanced, so much can go right. If you're trying to lose weight and your hormones are out of whack, good luck. It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Detoxification, we all need to detox because we're drinking water and we're eating foods that have crap
in foods, but also the medication that we're taking. I mean, we need to detox regularly from that. Absolutely. I mean, especially little people that are forced to go and get vaccines. And of course, that's a hot topic right now. So, at any given time, your body is ingesting something that is external to it and foreign to it. So this is a good way, you're saying, to detox, right?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, one of the requirements that you have to do when you're wearing these patches is you have to drink half of your body weight in ounces in water every day. It's the only requirement. You have to, because you're going to start dumping toxins out of your lymph nodes and out of your fat cells, and you've got to flush it. So that's the one thing that we request. But blood pressure dropping, not just my husband's, but lots of people's blood pressure dropping dramatically. A1C's dropping, anti-aging, athletic performance. Over 300 athletes were wearing these patches in the 2008 Olympics. We have people like Tom Brady wearing the patches. The Kansas City Chiefs are wearing the patches. Serena Williams, David Beckham, Michael Phelps, big names, but we are not out there in the news media or on television that much. And so people are just not aware. And this is what kills me is these things, look at the organs, heart, brain, lungs, kidney, liver, GI tract, adrenals, all of this has been proven in double-blind placebo-controlled studies. And so what is so amazing, part of what my job is to say, what is it that you're looking for? What do you need to have done? What's your budget allow for? Let's get you the right product that will benefit you. And then, and let me help you start. Like we wouldn't start with the stem cell activation patch and the glutathione patch right out of the gate, because that's too much detox. I would titrate up, right? I would make sure that you're doing okay on the one, and I would typically throw in that anti-inflammation patch, that dynamic duo set right out of the base. But I want to point out how safe this is. Because Sendra, this is new technology, although it's old. Like light therapy is old. People go in and they wouldn't think twice about getting an infrared sauna. People wouldn't think twice about red light therapy or going out in the sun. This is very much like that. So it's 100% safe. There are no contraindications or drug interactions. And that's huge. It's really important because I'm talking with people that are children to in their 90s. And when I'm helping them, I don't have to say, what are all the medicines? Although I might say, if you're on a blood pressure or cholesterol or thyroid medicine or hormones, please keep check, because you're probably going to need less of that. I've had people drop their blood pressure medicine in the first week of patching in half. There is a money back guarantee. They're available in 87 countries.
That's fantastic.
So they just come to your door.
let's talk about how someone does get started on this. So they just reach out to you, and so you want to tell the audience, oh, first of all, tell us who the founder is for this corporate, for this system.
Yeah, so there's a wonderful inventor, David Smith, who basically was asked by the Department of Defense to help our Navy SEALs be able to sustain missions for 4 days without sleep. And how could they have energy and resilience and not have fatigue? And so he had some very unique trainings. He had been already working with the Navy SEALs and submarines on other battery technologies. And so he developed the very first patches, which are improve energy and improve mitochondrial health and improve basically your fat burning capability from the mitochondria. And so they had amazing experiences. And I've talked to some of the Navy SEALs that actually were in that very first beta test, who, 20 years ago, it was literally 20 years ago when they were examining that. So he has over 150 patents on regeneration, and he's all about improving health and improving the quality of life. So he's got a heart of gold. He's very generous. He gives a lot of patches. I love him because he gives a lot of patches to our veterans, our Purple Hearts, and our disabled, and the military Paralympic medalists, and actually others as well. They just gave out thousands of patches at the Special Olympics. And so they really have a lot of amazing, he's got a heart of gold. He's just a really generous
That's
man.
fantastic. Well, tell us, what is your role in this organization? You're a distributor,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah, I'm
So
a
if someone like wanted, another person wanted to say, well, I'm not ready, I just want to be a distributor like you.
yeah, there are most people, if you come in wholesale, you're becoming a distributor, but you don't ever have to distribute. You don't ever have to buy again. You don't ever have to, you're going to come in a wholesale as a brand partner, and you may try it. And, if you don't give it enough time, most people, 80% experience results in 3 to 6 weeks. But if you don't have enough copper in your body, or you're not getting electrolytes, or you're not drinking enough water, or you're not experiencing, or you're not tracking, a lot of people don't even notice the things that are improving. But then you may say, I just don't want to do it anymore. Okay, there's no requirement. You don't ever have to do it again. My job is to hold your hand through the process. If you do want to do this, if you want to do this as a business, I will lock arms with you and I will help you be successful. There are people making a ton of money. It's passive residual income. But it's not about the money. For all of the people that I have met in this business, it's about helping people with their health. We are motivated.
I smile because money is. I have no apology that I'm a capitalist. I am a conscious capitalist. So anything opportunity that talks about you benefiting holistically, mind, body, spirit, financially, I'm 100% behind it. So
Yeah.
that said, so now we talked about what a patient would expect to do when they use this, but also the practitioner, if they want to come in or out as a practitioner. Is this, people are probably going to say, this is just another MLM. Is this what this is?
It is direct sales, and it is offered through doctors' offices. Actually, I have 4 doctors doing these patches. I did not know about them until I asked about them. But even I have a holistic dentist, a biological dentist. I have a brain specialist, Harvard grad. I have a lot of doctors. There are even pharmacists who are thinking of leaving the pharmaceutical industry because what they're seeing in the results of these patches is real healing that they've never seen in their entire life as a pharmaceutical doctor. So yes, there is an approach to creating a business and to helping patients at the same time. Even chiropractors who are using the patches in their offices have actually dramatically increased their business because they're getting such great results for their patients that the referrals are really up. I mean, a lot of doctors will say, well, if I cure all my patients, they won't come back to me, and then I lose money, right? Especially people, chiropractors. But what they are finding is actually the referral rate is so high, all of them are sending their friends, and then they're getting connected and they're patching. So the business is actually exploding.
Fantastic. Well, this has been delightful. And of course, this is the first time I talk about healing. Healing is really what I push. I want people to find solutions. I'm a problem solver by nature. I'm the kind of person, it's like, give me a problem, whether it's a financial, whether it's I'm not credentialed for the majority of things. discuss on, except, the academic experiences that I've had with the MBA and all that. All that said, I'm about solutions. So if you find that this is a solution that can potentially help you health wise and also financially set it up as a business, this is a home based thing, please reach out. And why don't you tell us how to reach you?
Yeah, thank you, Sendra. So I am reverseaging.com is the website. That's IAMREVERSEAGING.com. And there's a bunch on that website. You can actually see the pictures. If you're listening, you can see those brain studies and the heart studies. You can see 2-minute video on how this works. You can see bigger videos on how it works from the inventor. You can see testimonials from doctors and testimonials from NFL players. You can also click and see the patent. You can click and see the studies, the 90 clinical studies. You can read them for yourself. And you can get a deep dive into each of the different types of patches. But there's a big button that says contact Darlene, and that email will come to me and we can arrange for a private free consultation. I actually do a weekly Zoom call with a doctor every Thursday at 5 o'clock Arizona time. And I can invite you to join there where you can ask myself and the doctor questions or we can do a private consultation. It doesn't matter to me either way. And then I help people and hold their hand, and whether they're interested in the journey of healing or they're interested in the journey of the business, I can help them either way. Mostly we start with the healing of yourself first. And if people try the patches first themselves, I like that. I typically don't talk about the business at all with people because
the passion she exudes
that is
with this conversation.
It's not about the business. It's, people having their own experience and then going, oh my gosh, I have all these people I need to share. Like I have friends, I have family that are hurting and they're sick and they need help. And that's the joy, is to experience that ability to help others. It's so dramatic and it's so impressive and it's just so much fun. It's just lovely.
It's a holistic process. Again, I'm here to help bring you information. It's up to you to do what you want with it. Do your own research. I am not an expert in health or anything other than what I've seen around us, especially in the last 5 years with the little C word. So all I could say is, don't close your mind to something that potentially can help you. And I don't push products. I do encourage people to explore different options. That's what I'm here to do. And of course, I'm not what do you call a practitioner of this, nor do I get paid for this. I don't know, at a later time, I may decide to do that. But again, this is your path potentially to health freedom, health independence. And I can tell you, having been someone who watched their loved ones suffer and still watch them suffer, and myself have had, aging things come upon me that I want a quick fix. There is no quick fix. There is instantaneous healing, but there are solutions that if you give it a try, it may work for you. I always tell people what works for you may not work for me. And I have not tried the product, and I was interested in bringing the information. So that said, I can't stop talking. I know. It's like, they're like, let the guest talk. Well, guess what else would you like to tell the audience to wrap this video up?
Sandra, thank you. And I would just say, most people have someone in their life or someone that they know that needs some help. And most people have been told through their doctors, this drug, this surgery are your only options. And I would tell you that you need to understand that doctors go through medical school. The medical schools have been built by pharmaceutical companies. The curriculum is created by pharmaceutical companies. They are learning drugs and surgeries through medical school. And I don't fault them. This is no disrespect to doctors. That's a hard job and they're doing great work. But they didn't learn the holistic world that I'm living in. And they don't know that there are alternate options that can actually facilitate your body's own innate wisdom and healing of itself. And so
they're not allowed.
They're not allowed. And I mean, they would lose their license for, in some cases, talking about naturopathic approaches to the little C or the big C or whatever, right? So I share with you that as someone who's done a lot of research on my own and have found a lot of alternative therapies that have been helpful, and I've actually tried a ton of it, nothing has been as helpful as this. And so if you have no hope, or you've been told there's no cure. I have no symptoms of any of the autoimmune disorders that I had. My
Nice.
husband's improved. We've had people who have dropped their fasting glucose from 180 to 119 in 3 months, cholesterol from 194 to 147 in 3 months, their cortisol down, their weight down, their blood pressure down. I mean, what do you have to lose? There's a money back guarantee. It gets
Nothing at
brought
all.
to your house. There's no prescription required. $99. If you just did the one patch, let's say you don't need pain, let's say you don't want to try the inflammation patch right out of the gate. The inflammation patch is only $49. The patch for pain relief is only $49 for a sleeve of 30 patches. So, this is not outrageously expensive. Your supplements that you are taking, your vitamins, they don't have 90 clinical studies on them. They don't have double-blind placebo-controlled studies. There is nothing like it out there in the world. And you're in good company, even just trying them. Why not? Why not?
Absolutely.
Hope
Nothing
it's
to lose,
part of your
all to
own
gain.
health. Don't think you have to listen to the white coats tell you there's nothing else I can do. There is something you can do.
I think they just capitalize on fear. And I know I've been afraid. I remember my brother, I shared earlier that he transitioned. And when one of his last few visits, hospitalization visits, and I remember him lying on the bed, and I saw the doctor just checking boxes. And I went up to the doctor. Of course, nothing is different about me. I was still the mouth, and I was the mouth because of this. Because I was always the press secretary for the household. I was like the doctor. I was like, what? Can you close your book? Can you look at the patient? That's my brother lying down. Can you look at this person? Because he's not in your medical book. And the nurse was in after, I said a little bit more than that. Because I had to fly in from London when my brother was actually in a coma to go and see him because I thought he was dying. Then he recovered, but they were just like checking boxes. And so when I walked out of the hospital room, the nurse said to me, "You're so right. You did
Oh,
the right
very
thing.
nice.
I wish all
Very nice.
the family members were outspoken like you and not afraid of the doctor, but because I could tell you're not." I said, "Listen, I'm spiritual. It's God first for me. So the idea that some human is going to walk out and say, no, there's no case here. There's nothing nothing else can be done." I was like, you know what? Close the book because we're going to have to talk about this. And my brother actually was upset because he was very afraid. He was just like, "You're gonna come here and make trouble." And I was like, "Listen, I am not just making." And this is when I realized the plan for me was not just for my family members, but this insight and this journey had to do with me helping other people.
Yeah.
And I have been doing that to the best of my ability. This mouth was given to me, this voice was given to me so I can really help other people to understand what else is available. And I do feel that the doctors are bought and paid for the most part, because I remember I was hired, anyway, that's another podcast, as a pharmaceutical rep once. And
Oh, yeah.
they are going in. Oxycontin. I'm in recovery. So all these drugs, all these reps
Yeah.
are all drug pushers, as far as I'm concerned. They are no different than those crack dealers on the street corner. And that's where I'm going to end on the Frankly Speaking with Sendra D today. Thank you so much, Darlene, for coming in another time. You're welcome anytime. We're going to talk about this because I am going to explore the opportunity as a user, as a consumer. So that said, how can people reach you again?
Yeah, I am reverseaging.com. I am reverseaging.com. I can also be reached on Facebook, Darlene Bennett Greene, or LinkedIn, Darlene Bennett Greene. And I would just say, give it a try. We've had people in hospice who have benefited from the pain relief, and it's just made their last days more delightful. There's no point in time when it's not helpful. It's just a matter of when you're going to experience the benefits. So thank you for the time. Thank you for all that you do in the world, Sendra. Appreciate you. Appreciate your podcast.
Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry to hear about your husband. And I have no doubt that divine intervention will come in and solidify the bond and the experience to help you gain more strength. And through that experience, what doesn't break us makes us stronger.
Well, and I would say that the community of people that I'm working with and the ability to serve others has helped me through this journey. So he's living his highest quality of life, and I am living my highest quality of life as a result of this community of people that I'm patching or that are that I'm working with that are patching. It's just really,
Absolutely.
it's
I
a,
mean, you've
it's
been
a, it's a
serving.
mission bigger than yourself, right? It's helping.
Absolutely. You just stay
Yeah.
open to it and say, okay, I'm open and willing. And so the thing is, you have been serving. You serve this country with honor, dignity. Commander, I applaud you. You are my heroine, my hero, G.I. Jane. So that said, thank you again for joining me. Until the next time, everyone, have a fantastic. And I keep telling you, there is some good news coming soon from the podcast, Frankly Speaking with Sendra D. I'm excited. Can you tell? And so I can't tell you yet, but I will tell you soon. So stay tuned, everyone. And put your comments, put your ideas. Any one of you have used stem cell before? What was your experience like? What is your condition? What are you looking to get healing from? What would you like me to talk about? What would you like Commander Greene to come back and talk to you about? So we're open to all of it, but put the comment, like, and share the video. Again, until next time, make it great. So thanks for watching. Of course, I just want to remind you, first of all, I want to say thanks for watching, but I want to say from my heart, Sendra D, I want to remind you to grab your copy on Amazon and let me know what your thoughts are, what feedback you have, what you would have liked me to speak about. Of course, we're on this journey together. So Amazon, Kindle, paperback, Sindor, Inner Luxury. And for those of you who are ready to dive even deeper, you can get ready because there's more coming. Sindor Guide to Luxury Living and Emotional Balance. That's going to be available very soon. So stay tuned, keep watching. I will announce. You follow me on my social medias as I tease a little bit of this and a little bit of that for your highest good. Remember, luxury isn't just a lifestyle. It is absolutely a mindset. And I don't know about you, I want my mindset to reflect all of the highest frequencies available to us humans. Till next time, don't forget, grab your copy on Amazon, Sindor, Inner Luxury, Unlocking the Secret to Your Luxurious Self. Until next time.
Oh, and don't forget, subscribe to Frankly Speaking with Sendra D's podcast and join us every week as we uncover the stories of those who triumphed over life-altering challenges to achieve not just financial success, but a richer, a deeper, a more altruistic life. It's about time we redefine what it means to be a truly affluent individual. Don't you agree? So come and join me. And let's be unstoppable on this journey called life. The path to waking up to your authentic being.